A special military unit fights a powerful, out-of-control supercomputer and hundreds of scientists who have mutated into flesh-eating creatures after a laboratory accident. Resident Evil is up next on Inside Movies. Hey guys, welcome to Inside Movies with George Michail. I'm your host. I'm a comic book writer, and I am joined by the editor-in-chief of Merc Publishing, Murphey, novelist Andrew Buckley, and writer-illustrator GMB CHOMICHUK. He's too close to the screen, though. I don't know. Making me feel uneasy. So today we're talking about Resident Evil, the 2002 movie that kicked off the franchise. Let's get into it. What's the good? What do we like about this one?
I love this movie. I forgot how much I love this movie. The whole opening sequence of the building locking down and all the people being trapped in there and the elevator, like I thought that was it was just so good. And like the confusion that they had, you know, you're kind of feeling because you have no idea why, you know, it's like what is this vial? Like all these people are freaking out. Like, where are they? I thought the opening sequence was like held up fantastic.
I have 100% agree with you, Murphy. This is from that era where there was this new genre of movies happening called the video game movie. And for the first time, there was a good one. I remember after the first 10 minutes of Resident Evil being like, wait, this could be a great movie. There's this whole like commercialization of evil kind of feeling in it, which I really liked. I like movies that explore the banality of evil. So like labs just manufacturing stuff that they don't mean to be bad. It just so happens it mutates you into a horrible creature. I love that kind of stuff.
This was a rare occurrence for me for Inside Movies, where I watched a movie that I loved in the past and I watched it again and still loved it, which doesn't happen very often with this show. It's the self-contained. It's the containment of it. I think I like a really nice contained horror where it has a time lock on it. They're kind of just stuck in the hive where they just can't get out, and they keep getting pushed in different directions. I still love this movie. It held up for me in lots of ways. George, did it hold for you, but
No, it did not hold up for me. But this is the good. I don't want to bag on it too hard. I've got a few good things to say about it though. It's not all bad. The laser scene. They're in the hallway and the guy tries to jump and like this laser goes up and like cuts him in half. And then the guy's like, "Oh crap, what am I gonna do here?" And he and then it goes into like the grid and like just fucking breaks him in pieces. I was like, yes, this is awesome.
I had a dream all the time when I was a kid that I had to do something with like those lasers, and it terrified me. But now as an adult, whenever I see something like that, because I got so used to seeing it like a dream that I had, now it's like, oh, it's awesome and it's horrible, and like they did it like with the girl's head getting cut in half. It's like, oh. See, it's different than like other movies where I'm grossed out and I hate it. Like this one, I was grossed out and I loved it.
Yeah, there's some elements of this movie that feel more like a amusement ride than a horror movie, which I guess sort of slides into the bad, but that's kind of like the pace. There's that old saying, right, that you're not supposed to put a hat on a hat when you're writing a story. And this movie is just like a stack of like, is it zombies? Oh, is it an evil supercomputer? Oh, is it, genetically modified people? Is it, it just keeps stacking, but for some reason it doesn't fall over, I think, more or less till like the second movie. So I think it's great.
Overall. I liked the evil computer. What was it? The Queen or
Red Queen.
Red Queen. I thought that was cool, especially the even if the effects weren't great for the child that they was like the AI. Even if the effects weren't great, I was sufficiently creeped out by that little thing.
Well, it was cold, right? I mean, it was coming from a child's mouth, and she was talking very matter-of-factly about mass genocide and genetic alteration, and all the horrors, and why she wants to, she's so calm when she wants them to kill Michelle Rodriguez's character. She was so chill about it. Like, I'm gonna need you to kill her though, and then you can leave. But with the whole, and I mean, geez, Milla Jovovich was so freaking cool. Like all her action, she did all her own stunts except for one, the one where she had to jump in the sewer or whatever from the pipe to the wall. Her agent was worried she was going to hang herself doing it. But every single other stunt she did, all her scrapes and stuff that are in the movie are all real. She actually injured herself several times and kept going.
That's awesome.
She's such a badass.
Yeah, you know who else is a badass character? Don't you have something along these lines, Murphy?
Miss Meow.
Miss Meow.
I do have a badass. So Miss Meow #2 is going to be in stores on July 12th. Miss Meow #1 completely sold out from our distributor. So go to your local comic shop, add it to your pull list, add Death Race to your pull list. It's going to be coming out just next week. If you like strong, badass female characters, you are going to love Miss Meow and the whole Merc universe. Check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, and I've included a link to Merc Publishing website in the description of this video. So click that link and check out their books and go into your local comic book store and ask them to bring them in for you. I have Milla Jovovich as a plus, and I also have Michelle Rodriguez as a plus. I felt like a lot of the other characters were pretty forgettable, except for the English guy. The English guy was pretty cool, but everybody else is like, I don't know, which guy is this? They all kind of look the same, and I don't know. They could all be named Chad, but this guy, Milla Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez, I thought were the stars of the show, and that especially in 2002, that was kind of a rarity to have like two female protagonists be like the leads for an action movie, and I thought they were great.
I mean, it's not like it's an amazing, wonderful, crazy, unique story. It's zombies, and military or corporate lab or whatever, but the parallels that they drew from Alice in Wonderland was pretty cool. I mean, Alice is the main character, the Red Queen is the villain, there's lots of beheading going on. They go through a lot of there's a lot of reflections of mirrors and that kind of stuff. So there was kind of a cool bunch of like little bits and pieces that they paralleled with through the looking glass, which was pretty fun, I thought.
Yeah, and for me that is like a negative, because like it doesn't really go anywhere with it. It doesn't really do anything with this like idea of like parodying. That's not it. Yeah. But like paying homage to Alice in Wonderland and doing their own version of it. They don't really, though. They just kind of use a couple of names, and it doesn't.
Well, they go to a completely different world. I mean, it's not supposed to be a regular world that they're used to. It's this weird horror fantasy world that lives underground at this point, anyways.
I guess so. Let's get into the bad. What do we not like about this one? I have quite a bit.
Lay it on us, George. I want to hear it.
Hey, George.
Okay, so I felt like it was a generic zombie movie. It doesn't really expand the lore. It just recreates other movies' scenes and has them limping around and, with the broken foot and the elevator. And yeah, it's cool to pay homage, but it's also cool to kind of add something to it. And I really like it. Had the zombie dogs, I guess, but that was. And I found the characters really boring. Like Alice doesn't have like a personality. And because she's got amnesia, but like, what's her like reason for like trying to get through this? Like, what's her motivating thing other than just basic survival? Is
to be partially naked part of the time, I think.
Well, like the memory flashes, I feel like were how they were trying to give her a little bit of substance, is by her trying to remember how she got there and who she is and like what her part in all of this is,
Yeah, but she doesn't learn anything about herself. Like her memory flash is like, oh, remember when I was naked in the shower? I was like, okay. Or remember when I was like meeting that girl, but to go and steal this thing. But like, it wasn't really anything about her and what her life is that she's trying to get back to. I also felt like the mission felt kind of low stakes. Like they're trying to get out of there, but there's not really like a ticking clock that they're going against.
It's just like, locked in, don't they? Don't the doors lock at some point?
Yeah, they had like 2 hours to get out, I thought.
Oh, well.
90 minutes. They have the runtime of a film in order to escape this scary place. That part I didn't like so much. I also, as far as like stuff that I didn't like, most of the same kind of notes. Like the characters are not really well motivated by anything internal. In fact, the character I hoped kind of would survive to the end, he's the guy that gets like turned into little cubes by the lasers. I felt like there was more character on his face than on most of them, except maybe Rodriguez carries a lot of that film, I sadly have to say.
Yeah, totally.
Sadly, I thought she was fantastic too.
No, she's fantastic, but she is not supposed to be the main character.
Gotcha.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, she's doing a great job, and Milla's doing a great job, I think, with the script that as it is given and as it's directed. But there's just not enough meat on those undead bones, I guess.
So speaking of the undead, I will say my one of my few bad things that I have for this is I've been watching through The Walking Dead again and seeing like the level and the incredible acting and like prosthetics and all that in the zombies in that show. The zombies in this show were so lame. They just didn't. They were just on like they. I didn't believe them. There's just people.
We've progressed in cinema. This is what a state we live in, that there's so much zombie cinema now that we can be like, oh, that one zombie background actor who knows how to shuffle and twitch and drool at the same time. Oh, if they're, you know, like, isn't it funny that there's this much zombie material that we can pick and choose?
We have been elevated to a different level when it comes to zombies these days.
Yeah.
This was almost a George Romero vehicle. He was in the early stages of being the director for this and then dropped out. I can't remember why. But then Anderson picked it up. I still like it. What I did with something on my bad list was the inconsistencies. Milla Jovovich changes her hair, her makeup throughout the movie. From different scene to different scene, it switches up a whole bunch, which was quite crazy.
Yeah, I didn't make too close of a note, but there's a bunch of scenes in the editing where, yeah, her hair is wet and then it's dry. That's like a pet. It's if you watch this channel, you will see my pet peeve is characters who are wet in one scene and then dry in the next with no drying time. It bothers me.
Oh, I feel like we're like skipping over like one of the hugest problems is like this liquor. I guess that's what he's called. The creature at the end. He's all CGI and he looks terrible. It doesn't hold up. It's not like practical effects would have been awesome for something like that. The monster has no personality, no character, no motivation. It's just like this like killing thing, but like who gives a shit about it? Like it looked terrible. I didn't like it.
It was also there for like the beginning. It was there from the beginning, like when all this first happened, and then you don't really get it until the end. So there's a whole lot of like why weren't they running away from that thing this entire time? I totally agree. The monster was bad.
The liquor isn't the villain. The Red Queen is the villain. That's supposed to be the bad guy. The liquor's just a tool.
But there's no final showdown with the Red Queen.
There's not much you can do. It's just a computer.
It was like I was watching it this afternoon and like I almost dozed off. Like I'm like, and you know what's crazy is like, yeah, I just didn't like it very much.
Oh God, I love rewatching this.
It's like you're like me listening to you guys bag on like Rambo or something. This is like your
oh my God.
This is your cliffhanger right here.
George, how would John Rambo have handled the Resident Evil house, do you think?
Oh, it wouldn't have even been close, man. He would have just been like mowing everyone down with this.
He would have been cut to pieces by a laser in no time because he would have just stood there like an idiot with a knife and he would have been just chopped into pieces.
It would have reflected the laser with his giant knife. It would have been
awesome. Horse fuckery. No way. I've never played Resident Evil, so I don't even know if this remains faithful to the source material in the slightest.
Gosh, no. But you mean like the whole thing? I'm no Resident Evil expert, but I've played a number of them all the way through, and I really like what is consistent is that there's always a sense of world building, and you don't know all the answers. And even if you've played one game, they're going to change something on you, or they're going to change some canon, or it might all be connected, or maybe it's not. So it had that going for it. There was definitely elements where we're making the movie, right? It's from that era where they often would get a property, make a video game film or a comic book movie of those eras. See Dolph Lundgren's Punisher for what I'm talking about, where they just take the name and the concept and then they just make a version themselves. This suffers from that a little bit, I think, definitely.
Yeah, I got more negative to say. I don't feel like this thing is a very good like horror movie. Like it's a pretty okay action movie, but like horror wise, like I wanted the gore. Like when that chick's head gets like cut off on the elevator, you don't even see the head like drop and hit the ground and like roll around and like this.
It would be smashed to pieces. Oh, I hate that. Is such a fear of mine. I like that whole. I'm happy they didn't show that. Her head would have just been smushed.
Head stuck in elevator is one of your fears?
No, no, like that was like stepping out of an elevator. If it were to just drop, then you'd be done.
No, Murphy, you just jump right at the moment of impact. I've thought about this extensively. It'll be fun.
All right, now it's time for the skinny. What are our final grades for Resident Evil?
I am going to give it 5 out of 6 terrified people in an elevator, and one headless.
I'm gonna give this thing 4 zombie dogs out of 5 because I still love the shit out of this movie.
And I will give it 2 disappointed Ramiro faces out of 5 because I think when he saw it, he was probably pretty disappointed.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that we didn't get Ramiro making this thing.
He's not that good.
Well, he's a lot better than this. W.S. Anderson, he's like a lesser Michael Bay, man. It has some visual
fighting
coolness.
words, man. Like I'm not a fan of his filmography either, but like, come on. Wait, didn't he do Event Horizon?
Yes, he did.
Then he will always have my loyalty.
Yeah, so I think this movie's like all visual coolness, but no heart. It has some cool female actors. The zombie dogs and the laser grid scene saves it from being like a total pass for me. But I'm going, C+ on this one. Like, it's watchable. If you haven't seen it, maybe check it out. But it's also very skippable. Like, you don't have to go watch this one.
You do.
You do. You really do.
All right. So my name is George Michail, and I've been joined by Murphy, Andrew Buckley, and GMB CHOMICHUK. Go ask your local comic book store to bring in Miss Meow for you. There's a link to Merc Publishing in the description of this video. Give us a follow on our Facebooks, our Instagrams, our Twitters, all that stuff. Links in the description of this video as well. And until next time, peace.